Jai Hind everyone. Welcome to the science class. I hope all of you are fine at your home. Today we are going to do a very interesting topic. That topic is transfer of heat. This topic we are seeing in our day-to-day life. Transfer of heat. For example, when you keep this is the say water. Let us say when you keep it on the gas stove, what it will become? You say that water, it becomes hot. Why it becomes hot? Because there is a transfer of the heat from the gas stove to the water. Now, let us say this is a cup of tea, and cup of tea, it is hot. After some time, this cup of tea, it doesn't remain hot. Why it does not remain hot? Because the reason that heat from this tea, it flows into the surroundings. So that's why this cup, it loses heat, so it does not remain hot. Let us say in the winter, if you are standing in sunlight, we feel warm. Why we feel warm? Because from the sunlight we are getting heat, and with the help of that heat we feel warm. So there are large number of the examples of the say transfer of the heat. Another example is, take a ice cube. Let us say these are the ice cubes. Now keep these ice cubes outside the refrigerator. What will happen? You will find that these ice cubes, they melt into water. Why they melt into water? Because there is a transfer of heat from surroundings to the ice. Ice, it absorbs heat and it melts. Even if you keep a ice cube in your hand, what happens in that case? We find that we feel cold. Why we feel cold? Because there is a transfer of heat from the ice cube into our body. So that's why there is a transfer of heat from our body to the ice cube. So this is the reason that why we feel cold, and why the ice, it melts, because it gets the heat from our body. So these examples, they indicates the transfer of heat. Now there are three modes of transfer of heat that I will explain you with the help of a very simple example. What are the three modes of transfer of heat? What are the modes of transfer of heat? Number one, modes of transfer of heat. Modes of transfer of heat. There are three modes of transfer of heat. One is conduction, second is convection, and third is radiation. I will explain with the help of an example. First I will explain conduction. Let us say your test notebooks have arrived in the classroom, and the class monitor, he distributes the notebook. Now how he can distribute the notebooks? There are three ways. Let us say these are the benches in the classroom. What he will say, if first notebook is of the student who is on the last bench, he gives it to the student at the first bench, and this bench it gives to second, and students on the second bench give it to student on the third bench, and so on fourth bench and fifth bench, and in the last the notebook, it reaches to the last student. So what happened in this case? First, second, third, fourth, fifth, students, they have participated in this process, but they have not moved. There is no motion of these students. So same is the case of heat. We know that a solid, it consists of large number of the small particles, and if heat is given at one end, let us say heat is given at this end, what happens if this particles give heat to second and second to the third? In this way heat will reach the end, to this end. What we will say? We will say that this mode of transfer of heat is the conduction. And what is the convection? If the class monitor, what he do? Let us say this is the class monitor. What he do? He calls the names of the student whose notebook comes, and that student he comes, then he move away. So such a mode of transfer of heat is the convection. So what happens in case of convection? Each particle of a substance, it comes to the source of heat, takes the heat and move away. You might have seen in the boiling of water. Third is the radiation. In case of radiation, what happens? There is no role of the intervening medium. Let us say what happens again. There are the students. If he has to give the notebook to the last student, he will throw the notebook to the last student directly and it will reach to him. Neither this student will move nor the last student will move. Whereas in this case, student come and takes a notebook and go away. In this case, student will not move away, but he will just throw the notebook. So in this case also, in case of radiation also, the source of heat, it directly sends the heat to him. How it sends the heat, that I will tell you one by one. So first of all, I will discuss the conduction. Now can you define me what the conduction is? So let me write its very simple definition of the conduction. Conduction is a mode of, it is a mode of, MODE, mode of transfer of heat from one end of solid to other end without actual motion of particles, actual motion of particles of solid. What does it mean? There is no actual motion of the particles of the solid. Let us say this is the solid. This solid, it contains large number of particles. These small particles, let us say they could be molecules, they could be atoms. Let us say these are the particles present in the solid. So what will happen here? Let me draw the particles of this solid. Let us say these are the particles of this solid. Now listen. When we heat up this end, let us say when we heat up this end, what will happen? This molecule, it will vibrate. This particle, the A particle will vibrate like this. It will pass the heat to the B particle, and B particle, it will also vibrate and it will pass it to the C. C will pass to the D, and in this way the heat, it will reach to this end. If this is a particle, let us say J, J will pass to K, K will pass to L. In this way, heat will reach to one end to this end. And here in this case, let us say this particle is P. P will pass to the Q. Q will pass through the heat R. In this way, heat it reaches from one end to the other end. So it is similar like if I have to send the notebook to the last particle, what I will do, I will give the notebook to A is given to B is given to C. So in this way, if I have to send the heat to the last end, what I will do, I will heat up this end. By heating up this end, A will give the heat to B will give the heat to C will give to the heat to D. In this way, the heat it reaches from first to the last. So what this mode of transfer of heat? This mode of transfer of heat is called the conduction. Now, the transfer of how much heat get transferred from one end to other end, it depends on how the particles are arranged in the solid, how close the particles are to one another. So it depends on that. And conduction is only possible in which it is only possible in the material in which its particles they do not move but they remain relatively fixed at their position. Even if I am talking about the solid, if this is the solid, what will happen in case of solid? Particles of the medium, they just keep on vibrating about their mean position. They do not move from the one end to the other end, but they keep on vibrating on their position. So this mode of transfer of heat is called the conduction. Right? So there are various examples of the conductions of the heat. So let us discuss examples one by one. Now, before explaining you the examples, there are two very important terms that you have also studied in your junior classes. First term is conductors, another term is insulators. So what are the conductors? Let me explain you the conductors. Conductors are those materials through which heat can flow easily. For example, our cooking pans are made up of metals. Why these cooking pans they are made up of the metals? Answer is very simple. Because metals are good conductors of the heat. Whatever we heat give to the metal, they conduct that heat and it ultimately reaches to the food stuff. Right? So those materials are called the conductors. Even if you place the service spoon in a hot pan, let us say that pan is containing the hot vegetable. When you put the service spoon, you will find that, let us say, this is the pan, and if you put the service spoon, what will happen? With the passage of time, this service spoon, it also becomes hot. When this end it becomes hot, so what happens? It will behave like a conductor. So it is a conductor. Alright? Now let's define two important terms. One is conductors. What are the conductors? Conductors are those materials which conduct heat very easily. Those materials are given the name of the conductors. For example, iron, cobalt, aluminium, copper, silver, all these are the conductor. You know which one is the best conductor? Silver is the best conductor of the heat. Silver metal is the best conductor of the heat and copper is the second best conductor of the heat. Now second one is insulators. What are the insulators? Insulators are the materials which do not conduct heat easily. Those materials are called the insulators. For example, rubber, plastics, dry air, etc. Pure water, it is an insulator. Now, where conductors are used, where insulators are used, let me tell you, you might have seen that our cooking utensils, they are made up of metal. Why they are made up of the metal? The reason is that when you place the cooking utensil over glass stove, what happens? They become hot in a small time. So that heat, it directly passes to the food stuff which is being cooked in the cooking utensil. And you might have seen that in the cooking utensil, their handle is made up of a substance called the bakelite, just like a plastic. Why it is made up of that? Because it is an insulator of the heat. When the whole cooking utensil becomes hot, you might have seen the handle is not too much hot. Although it becomes little much of the hot, but it does not become too much of hot. So as a result of this, we can remove that cooking utensil from the gas stove easily. You might have seen the saucepan, the handle of the saucepan, it is made up of wood. In some cases it is made up of wood. Why? Because wood is an insulator. This wood, it is also an insulator. So it does not allow the heat to pass through it easily. Now let us do examples of the conduction. What are the examples of the conduction? Now listen everyone. The first example is that I have just told you. Cooking utensils are made up of metallic stuff. Why metallic stuff? The reason is that metallic stuff is a conductor of heat. When you will place it on a source of heat, it could be a gas stove, it could be a heater. What will happen then? It will become hot and it will pass the heat to the food stuff which is being cooked. And second point is that handles of utensils, they are made up of insulators. Why they are made up of insulator? The reason is that insulator does not conduct heat easily and they do not become the hot even when the food is being cooked in the vessels. So as a result of this, handles are made up of the insulators. So handles are made up of insulators. Number 3, public benches. You might have seen the benches at the public places. So you can say benches at the public places. Public places are made up of insulators. They are made up of wood. They may be made up of concrete in the form of cement, etc. They may be made up of some type of plastic, but it will not be made up of conductor. Why? Because in the summer, what happens? If it is made up of conductor, if it is made up of iron, what will happen? It will become hot in a very small time and person will not be able to sit on that hot bench. And if it is made up of insulator, what will happen? That bench, it will not become as hot as a metallic bench is. If you are having a, let us say this is a car it's some of its outer part, it is made up of the metal. If you touch the car, it is very very hot. Why very very hot? Because it is made up of metal. Right? So benches at public places are made up of insulators. Insulators, just like wood, cement, etc. Right? Fourth is water storage tanks. All of you are having the water storage tanks in your houses, which are on the roofs. And these water storage tanks, they are either made up of the plastics or concrete. Concrete, C-O-N-C-R-E-T-E, concrete. Why they are made up of this? Because they are the insulator. When the sunlight falls on it, the water stored in them, it does not become hot in a small time. It takes some time. And during the winter, the water, it does not become too cold. Because plastic and concrete, they are the insulators. Next is, you might have seen hot cases. That is the lunch box. They are also made up of insulator material. Why? If they are made up of conducting material, the heat of the food, it will be lost to the surroundings. But if it is made up of the insulating material does not conduct heat easily. So what will happen? The heat of the food stuff, it will be preserved within the hot case. So the food, it remains hot for a longer time. So this was about the conduction. So what is the conduction? It is a mode of transfer of heat which involves no movement of its particles. Right? So these are the examples of the conduction. Now let us do about the convection. So what is convection? So let's discuss the convection. Convection, as I told you, how can you correlate this convection to your day-to-day life? When the test notebooks, they reaches convection. When the test notebooks, they reaches the classroom, what happens in that case? In that case, if your monitor says, if your monitor take the name of the student whose notebook he is having, he calls it and he gives the notebook. So if the heat transfers in this way, what we will call? We will call the convection. Conduction, it takes place in solids. Convection, it takes place in liquids and gases. So let us do its definition. It is mode of transfer of heat in which particles of medium move from hot end to cold end. So convection is the mode of transfer of heat in which particles of the medium, they move from the hot end to the cold end. Let me explain you. Let us say this is the water and we are heating the water. When we heat up the water, what happens? The particle which is near this end, it will take heat and it will move up. And another particle, it will take heat and it will move up. So what happens? The particles at the top, they come down and they will take the heat and they will move up. So in this way, the motion of the particles of the water, it takes place, and as a result of this, entire water, it becomes hot. So what happens? Each and every particles of the water, it comes to the source of heat, it takes the heat and moves away. Just like in classroom, your teacher takes the name, you come and you collect your notebook and then you move to your benches. So same is the case of heating of the water. This convection, it takes place in the gases and liquids. Why it cannot take place in the solids? Because in case of solid, the particles of the medium or the substance, they remain fixed at their position. They are not supposed to leave their position. So this is the reason that why convection takes place only in the liquids and gases. It does not take place in the solids. Now, let us do examples of the convection. They are very, very wonderful examples of the convection, and you are using and you are seeing those in your day-to-day life. So let me tell you. What are the examples? First example is air conditioner, that is the ACs. Air conditioners or ACs are installed near the ceiling. Why they are not installed at the bottom? It is the reason that from the AC cool air it comes, and cool air is heavy. So what happens? It settles down and the hot air from it comes up again, it becomes cold. So in this way the circulation of air, it is kept. Always remember, hot air is lighter, it always moves up, and the cold air, it is heavy, it always settles down. So cold air from the AC, it comes down and its place is taken by the hot air. Hot air, it rises up, and when it becomes cool, it again settles down. Second point is, why the room heaters, they are not installed near the ceiling? It is because room heaters, why they are placed near to the floor? The reason is that in case of room heaters, air will come to this, it will become hot and it will rise up, and in this way this hot air, it will rise up and its place will be taken by the cold air, which is again at the bottom. It will come and it rise up, and when this hot air, it rises up, what the air near the ceiling, it settles down. So as a result of this, it will again come, and in this way what happens? The room, it becomes hot. Hot air, it always rises up, and cold air, it always settles down. And the third point is that why the exhaust fans in the kitchens, they are mounted near the ceilings. This is the ceiling. Why this exhaust fan, it is mounted near the ceilings? The answer is that because in this case in kitchen, what happens? Whatsoever are the hot gases, they are light, so they always rise up. So these gases are exhausted from the room, and cold air from the windows, from the door, it can enter the kitchen. And why the chimneys are just placed over the gas stove? All of you might have seen that there are chimneys which are near the gas stove. Why? Because whenever we cook the food, let us say something is in our pressure cooker, when the food become cooked, you can hear the whistle of the pressure cooker. What will happen? This hot air, it will enter this. As a result of this, with the help of the chimney, it goes outside. Because hot air, it always rises up, and cold air, it always settles down. And next example is sea breeze. This is one of the most beautiful example of the sea breeze. What is the sea breeze? Let us say this is the sea, and here we are having the land. All of us know that when the sunlight, it falls on the sea, water takes time to become hot, whereas land, it becomes hot in a small time. So water remains cold and land, it becomes hot. So as a result of this, the air above sea, it is the cool air, and air on the land, it becomes hot. Hot air, it will always rise up, and when this hot air, it will rise up, its place will be taken by the cold air. And as a result of this, what will happen? Its place will be taken by the cold air. As a result of this, the air above the space above the sea, it becomes empty. So its place is taken by the hot air. When hot air, it comes in contact with the sea water, it also becomes cold. So in this way, there is flow of cold air from sea to the land during the daytime. So that is called the sea breeze. Sea breeze means cool air is flowing from the land to the sea during daytime. This is called the sea breeze. And you might have seen the people who are living in the country which is having, in the cities having sea, their windows are always faces the sea, so that cool air from the sea, it can enter their homes. And there is a term land breeze. What is land breeze? In the night, let us say, again this is the sea and this is the sea land. In the night, what happens? Sea water becomes because during the daytime, sunlight falls on the sea water, so it becomes hot. In the evening, it becomes hot, and it does not become cool in a small time. Whereas after evening, what happens? There is no sunlight, so land, it becomes cold within a small time. So what happens? Air above the land, it is cool, whereas air above the sea, it becomes hot. Hot air, it will rise up, and when this hot air will rise up, so what happens? Cool air from the land, it moves towards the sea, so that to complete the vacuum, so that to fill up the space which is left by the hot air. And hot air, it will move to the land. Cool air from the land, it moves to sea, and hot air from the sea, it moves towards the land. So when cool air moves here, what happens? Hot air, it will move there. So when this hot air, it will come in contact with the land, it will again become cool. So in this way, there is a circulation of air, and this is called the land breeze. Land breeze means cool air flowing from the land to the sea during the night. So this is called the land breeze. So you go through these topics. In case of any problem, you can contact me. Thank you and have a nice day.